And I gotta be honest, I feel like that is a thing that was created on the internet to rage bait British people. I don't know any single person who does that. However, it goes without saying, if you were that person, you better not do it here. And a lot of people believe that the milk
Olá pessoal, sejam bem-vindos ao meu canal. Meu nome é Natália, mas você pode me chamar de Nath. Eu adoro reagir e aprender sobre outros países, especialmente aqueles que são bem diferentes do meu, em termos culturais e econômicos. Então, se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, fica à vontade para se inscrever. Eu vou adorar ter você por aqui. Bom, nesse vídeo eu vou reagir a como ser britânico. 20 regras que os britânicos nunca quebram. Então é isso, sem mais delongas e vamos para a reação.
Hi everyone, it's me. My name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I live here in the UK. Welcome, have a seat, get cozy, maybe have a hot drink. I still have my coffee. Let's see if I can finish it before it gets cold. I have created a list, this list, in fact, of 20 rules that I think are integral to British life. Rules that the Brits do not break. So that is what we're talking about today. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of my list? But you can only be nice. Don't only say nice things. Don't say mean things. Number 1, always say sorry even if it's not your fault. So even if you bump into a lamppost, you bump into a door frame, you accidentally step on something that's not a human or an animal, you just say sorry. Number 2, queue properly. So queuing improperly or cutting a queue is just absolutely diabolical. You probably won't get yelled at because British people largely don't like to yell at people, don't want to cause a fuss, but you will be tutted at.
Gente, eu já preciso comentar sobre essas duas regras que ela disse que vocês nunca quebram. Que é sobre pedir desculpas e sobre também não se exaltar. Eu acho isso uma forma muito madura de abordar as questões sociais do nosso dia a dia. Porque se você for parar para pensar o fato de pedir desculpas, ela serve como um amortecedor de qualquer situação constrangedora que possa vir a ocorrer. Então, eu acho isso muito inteligente da parte de vocês. E essa questão também de se exaltar, eu acho realmente fabuloso. Uma vez eu respondi um inscrito aqui que ele falava que também não se exaltava. Eu comentei que eu também não conseguia fazer isso porque eu fico com medo da reação da pessoa, sabe? Então eu não me exalto, tento sempre manter a calma. Mas eu realmente acho isso muito admirável de vocês. Vocês abordam as coisas de uma forma muito elegante, mas com muita naturalidade. Eu acho isso perfeito.
Which might even be worse. Number 3, never make eye contact on public transport. So for me, I sold my car 5 years ago? That can't be right. I sold my car a long time ago and I rely on public transport to get everywhere and anywhere. I kind of love that British people don't really make eye contact. They don't want to cause a fuss, right? You don't want to be a bother. Don't make eye contact. However, if you are, perhaps on the bus and somebody is staring at you and you just know that something is going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like something is going to transpire on this bus. As part of this rule, I would also say never sit beside someone on public transport unless there's no other option. Another rule that I love, so when you're on a train or on the bus, everybody's like taking one seat in the clusters, like there's seats of 2. Everybody's taking one and one and one and one until it can't, there's no more empty seats left. So you start taking a seat beside someone. Only then is that appropriate. Because there is few things worse than being on the train and the carriage is almost empty and you're in a window seat. And where does that person decide to sit? Beside you.
Sim,
so buckle up.
Deus.
Something's about to happen. Moving right along. What are we up to? Number 4. Don't talk to strangers unless it's about the weather. British people don't really like opening up immediately. It takes them a long time to get that personal. Every time I go back to Canada, I'm always kind of shocked how Canadians, you'll be in a queue for something and the person next to you just starts telling you about their personal life, and it's always kind of shocking, I don't even know you and you're being so upfront and open. I'm shocked. Here I find in the UK, and of course, this is a thing I already know you guys have commented down below. I live in Kent. I think Kentish people are quite reserved. I think they're not snooty, and they're not like hoity-toity, posh, I'm not going to talk to you. I think largely it's just they're so polite that they don't want to bother you. They don't want to look at you and make you feel uncomfortable. They don't want to sit next to you in public transport. They don't want to talk to you about anything too personal before they know you. I think all of this is done because they're very polite. They're very reserved, not like in a mean or negative posh kind of way. But I know the Northerners, you guys love to make yourself known in the comments, and I'm sure you've already done it. And I'm sure there's already a comment that says, Northerners don't do this. Northerners talk to everybody and blah, blah, blah. And that's great. I love that for you. I live in Kent. So this is my list. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Every time I post a video, I always get comments from Northerners saying how the North is so much better. Okay. I've enjoyed all of my trips up north. I've been up north, been to Scotland and Wales, had an absolutely lovely time, beautiful places. Anyway, literally not the point of this video. Number 5.
Ela fala sobre essa questão de ser mais reservado e não se abrir assim muito rápido. Eu sou do Brasil e eu não sei se vocês conhecem a fama do brasileiro, mas a fama que o brasileiro tem é de ser muito aberto, né? Muito fala com todo mundo, mas eu acho que isso está mudando. A nova geração, eles não são muito abertos, assim, eu percebo que são mais as pessoas mais velhas, mas eu devo dizer que eu gosto dessa forma mais reservada. Eu acho que muitas das coisas que são duráveis, elas são construídas de forma mais lenta, com passos lentos, porém muito consistentes. Então, eu vejo isso como uma forma boa de se lidar com as coisas, né? Eu acho que muitas vezes as pessoas chegam falando coisas pra você, coisas da sua vida pessoal que pode assustar. Então, eu vejo isso como vocês tendo uma certa precaução em relação ao que vai expor ou não. Eu, sinceramente, acho isso uma coisa muito madura de vocês e a forma como vocês lidam com isso é muito natural também, porque eu vejo que pelas coisas que eu já tenho reagido aqui do Reino Unido, eu vejo que isso são coisas que estão colocadas de forma muito intrínseca, né, na sociedade de vocês. Então eu acho isso fantástico.
Tea solves everything. You just got dumped by a long-term partner. Have a cuppa. Perhaps you've just been made redundant at your job you've been with for 30 years. Have a cuppa. Maybe you went to the shops and it rained on you on the way home and you're a bit miserable. Just have a cuppa. Tea solves everything. I have only
Eu amo essa cultura do chá.
This is coffee. I always have a coffee in the morning. And I've only really recently got into tea. It's something that's really exciting because I feel like there's so much out there that I haven't had. I love doing taste tests. If you've seen any of my videos, I love a taste test. And tea is one of those things that I still feel is very unexplored for me, which is exciting. Personally, I'll take a Yorkshire, maybe a little bit of milk, but not too much, just a little something, and I'm laughing. I'm having a great time. Only in the winter though, or on a rainy day. I don't drink tea when it's nice out. I don't drink tea in the summertime. It has to be a bad, rainy, gross winter day. It's a very specific rule, I know. But that rule is only for me. British people don't follow that rule. Number 6. Number 6. The correct response to all right is all right. No actual information should be exchanged. This one is still very weird to me because when someone says to me, like, are you all right in Canada? That means, like, someone is asking about your well-being and you should respond in a way that makes sense. But here it's very much like a throwaway. It's like, it's kind of like in North America you would say like, hey, what's up? It's just casual, just like, hey, what's up? And they're not going to be like, oh, well, you know, Judy left me and our dog is ill and we don't have insurance and I think I'm going to be let go from my job. No. Too much information. When you say what's up, in North America, it's usually like very casual, just kind of like a throwaway line. That is the same thing I find here with you all right or just all right. They're not really asking, you know, for an in-depth explanation of how you're doing. You just say all right and move on. Number 7, never take the last biscuit. You're in some sort of social setting. Maybe there's a little party, a little get together at somebody's house and there's the last biscuit and you are offered that last biscuit. You need to say no. But if you're offered again and nobody else seems to really want it, then you may take the last biscuit. But you kind of have to do this little dance of like, oh, does anybody else anybody else? Like, oh, I shouldn't, does anyone else want it? And then you may take it. Next up, number 8, never complain in a restaurant. You can complain to the people you're eating with. That's fine, but don't complain to anyone who could actually improve the situation. No, just suffer. Number 9, roast.
Agora estou curiosa, por que é que vocês não reclamam se vocês estiverem no restaurante? Eu fiquei em dúvida sobre isso, porque literalmente eu também não reclamaria se acontecesse alguma coisa. Eu não sei porquê, mas eu não reclamaria.
Dinners are a sacred tradition and they must include Yorkshire puddings. If you do not have a Yorkshire pudding, you cannot call that a Sunday roast. That may just be my opinion, but I think it's the right one, don't you think? Number 10, beans on toast is a legitimate meal. I actually love... Okay,
é muito diferente.
I don't want to start a whole thing, but you know I'm going to start a whole thing. Beans on toast is great. However, and I know this is not a British rule and it always makes people upset. I don't like soggy bread. I don't like soggy as a texture. I just find it's not the greatest. So when I have beans on toast, and my British partner is the same, so if you want to take it up with someone, take it up with him. It's his fault. We will do toast with some nice butter and beans on the side. And then as you are eating the toast, you're scooping the beans and eating it as you go. That way the toast is still very toast and it's not soggy. So we have beans adjacent to toast. I know it drives people crazy. I don't know what to tell you. It's just such a pleasant eating experience. But I have beans beside toast like somewhat frequently, especially on a really busy day. It's like I need to eat something, but I just don't have time. Toast some bread, heat up some beans on the hob. We put a little bit like a chipotle chili or something in it, nice. Takes 5 seconds. You can wolf it down in less time and then I can get back to what I was doing. I know that's a really hot topic issue, but I've just said it now and we're moving on. Number 11.
Isso é curioso, porque eu falei que é diferente, mas acabei me lembrando que aqui no Brasil a gente faz uma sopa de feijão, cozinha o feijão, baixa ele no liquidificador e ele fica cremoso. E aí a gente come ele com torrada. Então, assim, não está tão distante do que vocês fazem. Então, literalmente é algo que eu provaria. Eu acho que seria muito, muito interessante. Agora, me deixa nos comentários o feijão que vocês fazem e colocam na torrada. Ele é temperado? Como é? Deixa aqui para eu saber, porque eu realmente fiquei em dúvida sobre isso. Aqui o nosso feijão ele é super temperado, mas eu fiquei curiosa para saber como é o de vocês.
You have to either love Marmite or hate it. You cannot be in between. I've never met a British person who had an opinion on Marmite that was anything other than love it or hate it, right? I know that's like the slogan, love it or hate it. I've never met someone who's like, yeah, I could take it or leave it. It's fine, but I don't, No, you can't do that. Personally, I hate it, which is kind of surprising because I love savory stuff. And I've tried it in a variety of different ways over the years. I've tried it in different applications. I hate it. Number 12, tea needs to be brewed correctly. Now, I know there's a lot of people that joke about making tea in the microwave. And I gotta be honest, I feel like that is a thing that was created on the internet to rage bait British people. I don't know any single person who does that. However, it goes without saying, if you were that person, you better not do it here. And a lot of people believe that the milk, to make a proper cuppa, the milk actually needs to go in first. And you need to have a certain type of china, and you need to like brew the tea a certain amount. You need to have a certain amount of milk or no milk. Like everybody's very particular. But either way, tea needs to actually be brewed properly. And if you put it in the microwave, the home office is going to show up at your house and they're going to deport you. All right? So you've been warned. Number 13, if someone says we should meet up soon, it means they never want to see you again. They're just being polite. I think for non-English speaking people, this is going to be so weird. There's a lot of double meanings when it comes to English language. And English speaking, way of speaking, the passive aggression. There's a lot of times when British people will say one thing and they very much mean something else. And I think that is really difficult to wrap your head around if English is not your first language. Even for me, like Canada technically speaks English as well. Slightly different, but English. And it took me a while to figure out the nuances of some of the phrases of what do British people actually mean Because I think Canadians are very upfront. Canadians are kind of like Americans. They say what they mean what they say. British people like to do this little song and dance where they kind of say something, but they're kind of meaning something else. So if that's new to you, good luck. Another
É muito curioso porque ela que é do Canadá, ou seja, um país que também fala inglês, ela comenta que ainda sente algumas dificuldades sobre essa questão de algumas expressões específicas. Eu acho isso incrível porque mostra realmente como cada cultura influencia o idioma, até mesmo quando se trata do mesmo idioma, né? Por exemplo, isso também acontece com o português. Eu sou do Brasil, a gente fala português, mas sei em português de Portugal e ele é muito diferente. Algumas pessoas do Brasil nem conseguem entender o que está sendo dito no português de Portugal, às vezes precisa até de legenda. Então, é muito curioso como isso acontece também com vocês e eu amo essas similaridades entre a gente.
rule that British people never break is do not talk about money. Now, I think the connotation of this is that Americans and maybe to a lesser extent Canadians are very boastful and they like boast about money, and that's in like really poor taste. And yeah, sure, that can happen, but I think in a more practical sense, this can be a negative to British people. In Canada, it is, I would say, much more common to know roughly salaries of your fellow employees, right? Because it's less of a tableau to talk about. So you can figure out like, hey, so-and-so is the same job, they're making 10,000 more than me. Why is that? I feel like here in the UK, it's so taboo. You do not speak about this stuff. You then kind of suffer some of those consequences because you don't really understand the salaries and things going on around you. Does that make sense? So I think the gut reaction is like, oh, Americans, all they do is boast about how much money they make. But actually, I think in the practical sense, it's super helpful. But either way, don't talk about money. Sorry, you can't do it here. Number 15, don't be too enthusiastic. Too enthusiastic, too high energy, ugh. Don't do it. Keep it low key, keep it self-deprecating, okay? If you're too excitable, if you're too energetic, too enthusiastic, gross. Number 16, passive aggression is key. Kind of mentioned this earlier, this sort of song and dance. A lot of British people don't really want to make a fuss, but obviously they get angry, they get annoyed, but rather than like being direct about it and communicating about it, perhaps in a very direct sense, they like to do the little passive aggressive dance. So if you're telling a story and someone goes, wow, okay, that's interesting. It ain't. It's not interesting, I'll tell you that much. Nobody can do passive aggression like the Brits. Number 7.
Gente, pelo que ela diz aqui, realmente é quase como uma habilidade isso de vocês, é conseguir falar as coisas sem falar. É como uma mágica, praticamente. Aqui no Brasil, a gente não tem muito disso. Na verdade, o brasileiro, ele não consegue falar as coisas assim, de uma forma muito aberta, ele acaba omitindo algumas coisas, sabe? Acho que a gente não lida com isso muito bem. Mas vocês encontraram uma forma de fazer isso perfeita, porque é uma forma que é contida, ao mesmo tempo é discreta, né? Mas a mensagem que quer passar está sendo dada. Então, basicamente, vocês estão conseguindo fazer mágica com isso. Eu realmente fico muito intrigada, porque eu fico pensando como surgiu todas essas coisas, todo esse jeito de ser. Realmente, as coisas da cultura britânica são muito, muito fascinantes para mim. Eu fico me perguntando sobre as raízes disso e como isso afeta o dia a dia de vocês, porque é uma coisa muito peculiar, sabe? É um jeito muito diferente e especial de lidar com as situações.
17, leaving without saying goodbye is considered an Irish goodbye, and that is a no-no. A proper British goodbye takes about 20 minutes. Again, it's a song and dance. It's this back and forth. It's like, well, right, we best be off, and then you start saying your goodbyes, and then you're kind of like slowly walking to the door, and you're still saying your goodbyes, and then you're standing at the door, and you're talking again, and then you're saying your goodbyes, and it's this big, long song and dance, really. Personally, I love an Irish goodbye, and I will do it at any possible moment, okay? So if you invite me somewhere, you just need to understand that at some point you're gonna notice that I am no longer there. I love an Irish goodbye. I think the Irish were right, okay? I think we need to do this more often. Just disappear into the night. Number 18, a cup of tea should be offered to anyone who enters your home, even if they're only staying for a few minutes. Even if you don't even drink tea, you should still have tea on offer. So, someone comes over, like an electrician, that was hard to say, an electrician, a plumber, tradesperson comes over for something, you offer a cup of tea. Landlord, family members, friends, neighbor, you should be offering a cup of tea even if you don't drink it. Number 19, a barbecue is successful no matter the weather. I don't think I've been to a barbecue where it hasn't rained in some capacity, but if there is beer and if there is meat, the weather is irrelevant. And if you wait for the weather to be perfect to have a barbecue, it's never gonna happen. And number 20, you must stand on the right of escalators and walk on the left. I realize this is largely in London, but I think it should be implemented literally everywhere. It's the best system you could ask for. Blocking an escalator, like having two people standing side by side on an escalator, is a serious crime and you will be arrested. Mainly by me, but I just hate it. Don't do it. Those are my 20 rules British people don't break. Leave a comment down below. What'd you think of my list? But you can only be nice, okay? Otherwise I will cry. Don't forget to check out Magic Mind. My link is in the description, and use NAPS20 to get a really good discount. If you'd like to watch something else right now, how about this one? I share all of the weird things I brought to the UK. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!
Gente, incrível. Sempre que eu reajo a essas regras que vocês não quebram ou como eu tenho que seguir, eu fico realmente intrigada, porque é muito diferente, né? É uma cultura muito diferente. No meu país as coisas acontecem de um modo totalmente oposto do que vocês fazem, mas eu admiro muito. Eu acho a forma como vocês lidam com as coisas muito maduras, uma forma madura de se lidar com as situações. Eu acredito que vocês desenvolveram isso de uma forma muito habilidosa, porque em nenhum momento parece uma coisa forçada, sabe? Parece uma coisa muito natural, e eu valorizo muito essas coisas que vêm com naturalidade. Elas têm uma beleza que não tem quando é algo forçado, sabe? Simplesmente as coisas fluem, e eu sinto isso de vocês, que vocês fazem as coisas de um modo que é para as coisas fluírem de uma forma mais fácil, de uma forma mais legal para todo mundo. Em todos os lugares, a questão de pedir desculpas, ou na questão do transporte público, ou você não se exaltar em alguma situação, eu acho que isso reflete muito na forma como a nossa sociedade reage também, porque imagina que o tempo todo você está sendo agressivo, ou você está invadindo o espaço de alguém. Imagine isso num número grande, numa escala grande, várias pessoas agindo assim uma com a outra, o quanto não seria muito mais caótico, e o quanto isso não poderia respingar em outras situações do dia, né, em outros momentos, ou até em outras pessoas. Então, isso acaba sendo como uma ordem social invisível, agindo na sociedade de vocês. Todas essas regras, elas estão ali, elas são aplicadas, elas agem de forma invisível, mas o efeito delas é sentido no dia a dia. E eu acho isso realmente fascinante. É isso que eu estou falando sobre ser uma coisa que eu encaro como naturalidade, e como um movimento que faz parte da vida e da cultura de vocês. Realmente muito, muito admirável. Bom, mas essa foi a minha reação. Eu espero que você tenha gostado. Se você gostou, considere se inscrever. Eu vou adorar ter você por aqui. E se você já está inscrito no canal, não esquece de ativar as notificações. Então é isso, e a gente se vê no próximo vídeo. Tchau!